This is youth football, where teamwork and having fun are the virtues of the sport. But in the South Florida Youth Football League, made up of 30,000 kids ages 5 to 15, there is a more sinister element: gambling.
I was a kid. I didn't know what was going on.
Rob Glover started playing in the league in 1997 when he was 9. He became a star running back, and people off the field began to take notice. Rob says he was being paid to play youth football, sometimes in the thousands after a good game.
People who don't know me just want to give me all kind of cash and stuff, you know. It was good at the time, but now I know it's a bad thing to do.
What Rob didn't know was that the money was a payoff from men who had won bets on his performance. Rob recalls one kickoff he returned.
One man said, "Man, running back, I got this." It was a $100 bill. He was like, "Running back, I'm going to give you this here. You running back, I'm going to run down there and give it to you." And as soon as they kicked it off, I ran it back for 99 yards. In the back of the end zone, he ran back. I ran by the coolers. He gave it to me. He gave me a $100 bill. Put this in your thigh pad. I remember that.
Former players, parents, and coaches told Outside the Lines stories of kids getting hundreds of dollars to make individual plays. To determine the extent of this behavior, we attended dozens of games in the South Florida League last fall and witnessed gambling firsthand.
Oh, he got in! He got in!
With the help of hidden cameras, we documented examples of people openly exchanging money in the stands, along the sidelines, and near the front entrance. We overheard discussions about which games to bet on and how much to wager. The gambling was taking place in plain view of parents, the young players, cheerleaders, and other children. Some gambling occurred within the sight of coaches and police officers.
The great white shark that's out there right now is the gambling.
Ron Thurston has been a head coach in the league since 2005. He is also a Broward County Sheriff's deputy and says gamblers have tainted the game.
It's big now with drug dealers. It's like everyone had a passion for something. Now drug dealers love youth league football. You have the criminal world that has infiltrated the youth football.
These guys are drug dealers who are doing this gambling. They're the only guys that have this type of money to bet on little kids.
Al Harris played in the South Florida Youth Football League and eventually became a 2-time Pro Bowl cornerback with the Green Bay Packers. Harris's 15-year-old son played in the league until a few years ago. When Harris began to notice the betting at his son's games, he says he asked some of the gamblers what was going on.
They had a point spread. They got a point spread for little league football. But the point spread and all of this, and I was like, what? That particular day, I think it was like a $20,000 pot.
You hear from hundreds of dollars, $10, till you hear thousands of dollars, $10,000, $20,000 you may hear on a football game.
Thurston and others say young football players are negatively affected by exposure to the people who are betting large amounts of cash on their games.
I worked inside the jail in the juvenile unit, and a lot of the kids play football. They were in for robberies, drugs. What happened is that person that they see that always have the money, that always get them a couple of dollars after each game, that person they want to be like. And next thing you know, they start to sell drugs, start to steal cars, because they want that.
It didn't take Rob long to get drawn into that crowd. He dropped out of high school and racked up several criminal charges, including a felony conviction for cocaine possession.
I look back on it, yeah, I could have been somewhere else right now. I could have been playing right now. I could have played on Sundays.
I've seen a lot of kids out there that were extremely talented, you know. And now when you go to the games, you see those same guys, you know, they're watching the games now, not in school, you know, just hanging out.
And Harris, like other parents and coaches we interviewed, also worries about a more imminent threat.
Whenever there's illegal money, there's gonna be guns, drugs. So it kind of just kills the whole atmosphere as far as wanting to go out and watch your son play when you know you got a go out and maybe run to the car after the game because some hothead has lost a couple grand and maybe shooting, or some other guys may be fighting over here.
Sergeant William Canine is in charge of the organized crime unit with the Broward County Sheriff's Department. He recalls a report from 4 years ago about a gambler being robbed after a game.
Somebody had gotten mugged and allegedly had $10,000 in cash stolen from him. He was from out of the area where he got robbed, but he was the big winner in a football pool, and the people in the area found out that he was the big winner, and as he left the field, he was robbed.
This is my league. Anything happens in this league, it comes to the top. Have a good game, fellas.
Mike Spivey, a part-time referee and local elementary school teacher, has been president of the South Florida Youth Football League for 3 years. He told us he wasn't aware that gambling was a problem at league games, but then we showed him our video.
It's just bad for the other fans that are there, that's there to have a good time. To see that type of stuff it's heartbreaking, it's alarming.
You see these guys here are exchanging cash, and there's a police officer standing right behind them. What does it tell you that they are engaged in this activity right in front of an officer?
They have no respect for the police. That's what that tells me right there. And I really have a problem with that, seeing this now with a police officer standing right there and seeing this type of activity going on right here. Something needs to be done.
We showed our video to Fort Lauderdale Police Chief Franklin Adderley.
This type of open behavior is unacceptable and should not be in a crowd where you have young kids participating in a sport.
Adderley says the officer in our videos was busy monitoring other activity in the stands, which can get rough as the crowd builds. Regardless, he says there is no place for gambling in youth football.
I think it's a bad message to the kids, and I don't think that that's something that we should ignore, and I don't think that's something that we should condone.
One of the issues is that gambling is a second-degree misdemeanor. Driving with a suspended driver's license is the same charge. I think a lot of people look at gambling as not really a crime.
Who is most responsible for addressing this?
I think it's the parents that have their kids participating in the games. I think it's the kids. I think it's the coaches. I think it's the league officials. More importantly, it's the people that attend the games, that are seeing this activity, and no one has done anything about it. I think collectively, we're all at fault.
We need to get with the parents. We need to have parent meetings. Even if I have to go to each and every park in the league and meet with every parent, kid that participates in this league, and let them know the consequences of gambling, or if any type of this conduct happens, what's going to happen.
But Coach Ron Thurston says some parents may already be compromised. Those parents may have taken money from gamblers who are recruiting their sons in an attempt to stack the teams on which the gamblers bet. Thurston says he lost one player after the boy's mother told him another team offered her $3,500 for her son.
Parents selling kids to the highest bidder. It's not just the college, the Cam Newton. They're doing that from pee-wees to the 160-pound level, ages 5 to 15.
Outside the Line spoke to several parents and grandparents who say they are bothered by the gambling and have turned down offers of hundreds or thousands of dollars from people recruiting their sons. Some say they have seen gambling spats turn into fights or threats of violence, but none of them would talk on camera. One couple who told some friends they were planning to talk to us backed out of an interview, saying they were starting to receive threats.
The ones who are basically complaining about the gambling, those are the ones who are sitting back and doing nothing about it.
Osbert Small, whom friends call OZ, is a bail bondsman in South Florida and has been a coach and youth recreation leader with the city of Pompano Beach for more than 20 years.
It's a zero tolerance from the league. It's a zero tolerance from the Pompano Beach Cowboys organization. If in fact you're caught gambling, you're barred from the park.
You say there's a zero tolerance for gambling.
Zero tolerance, yes it is.
Zero tolerance. Have you ever gambled on a game?
Never gambled on the game.
But as we reviewed our videos of the gambling, we spotted Small on some of the footage in the stands exchanging money with men who appear to be gambling.
Now this looks like you there. What are you doing?
I wasn't gambling.
Well, you're taking money from somebody. What are you doing?
I wasn't gambling.
If you weren't gambling, what are you doing taking money from that guy?
I was just holding the money for the individual.
You are someone who's very admired. Why would you tolerate something like this happening around you?
At times people make mistakes, I guess. And sometimes you don't want to get too much involved with the police. I'm not the enforcer to the league. I'm not a police officer. I'm not going to put myself at harm being know that that's the gentleman who's doing this and that. Doing the telling. I can't do it.
So you're saying there was nothing you could have done in that situation to deter those guys from gambling?
Maybe I probably could have said something that deterred them from coming around me. But as far as that gambling goes, they were gonna do it.
If one of your kids, who you coach and you mentor, asked you, what were you doing here? What would you say?
I said, I made a mistake.
How would you explain that to that kid?
You learn from the mistake OZ made and showing that I'm not perfect.
One of OZ's former players is Rob Glover, who took money from gamblers as a boy. When we last caught up with Rob, he was at a court hearing for a probation violation. Upon his release from jail, Rob says he plans to spend more time coaching his 6-year-old son and working on overcoming his past. He is now 23. But every once in a while, Rob says he still hears from the guys who used to bet on him.
Right now they just tell me, boy, you want me so much money and this and that. Oh, your boy, you bought me a house, you bought me a truck. It made me feel good, but at the same time, I don't see nothing out of it. In the long run, I ain't never get none. Only thing I got was a couple $1,000, you know what I'm saying, down the drain, going down the drain again tomorrow. Money like paper, it blows.